I went to CES 2024, just came back. When I was there, I met with Keychron, and they had some really cool new stuff. And I said, "You guys want to send me something because you make awesome stuff, and I want to review it." And they were like, "Sure." So they sent me this. This is a low-profile mechanical keyboard, Keychron K5 Max. So it's a full-length one. I often use mini. Basically, what are these called? Like not 10 keyless, but they have dedicated with the function keys, and then I have a numpad on the side. Basically, I just like mechanical keyboards. I'm somewhat of an enthusiast. It is kind of would just make sense for me to just have a full length one. So this is actually going to be kind of nice. We have our controls here, Bluetooth. You can wire it or use Bluetooth. I'll do both. Different functionality that it can do. These guys here come with, you can get RGB, you can get no color, and you can get just, okay, so that's just, when you're doing hot swappy stuff there. So you have this is a really nice cable. Nice braided cable wire there. That's a very nice cable with a little capacitor there. That's really nice. Nice and flexy. Key caps. So, your standard key caps, which you might wear down a little bit there. You can swap those out there. What's this? The little dongle. So it supports Bluetooth, wired, and 2.4 gigahertz. And we'll look at the keyboard itself. Oh yeah, that's nice. Right away, that's a nice keyboard. So the color of it is quite beautiful. Yeah, so I'll just look it over real quick. So it's nice and thin. The actual keyboard itself is very thin. I would hope so, considering it's a low profile. So obviously the key caps are very low profile there. They're not tiny, but they are definitely low profile. Deck of the keyboard is also very thin. That would be 6 millimeters or so. Maybe, yeah, probably about 6 millimeters or so. Very nice. That looks good. You do get a little bit of a slant to it, if I can even get this on camera. I'll go with this camera over here. You get a little bit of a slant on it there. So you can see there. So you're going to get a little bit of ergo. It's not going to be completely flat. Back there, we just get our USB-C, obviously. Back side there, nice gray. Feet kick up there with rubberized pads there that feel really nice. This is a very nice feeling keyboard. You can tell it's premium. Flex on the deck is non-existent. I mean, you can, but you really got to give it. Obviously, it's got a nice metal back plate in there, so that feels quite nice. That's important because, the feet are separated there. So if you didn't have a nice metal back plate, it would bow down in the middle, but it doesn't. Like the actual keyboard is real sturdy in the middle there. So you have your G, 2.5 G, the little dongle, cable, so meaning it's just plugged in. Bluetooth, that's actually kind of neat because you could have multiple devices. Now that I think about that, you could have, one Bluetooth and you could have your dongle. So I could have my dongle on my desktop, Bluetooth on my laptops that I test all the time. That's actually very useful. Windows or Mac is actually very useful too because it'll switch out these function buttons. So as it is right now, actually it looks like it's set up for Mac actually. So as it is right now, that's I think it's options and command or something for Mac. So for Mac users, they can do that. I am not using a Mac, so I'm going to be flipping these out right away actually. So, and that'll be cool because I can trial my little keycap puller that came with it. So, shift key is optional, enter key is optional. Do I like orange or do I like, yeah, I like orange. It looks nice. Orange is not normally a color that I'm a big fan of, but in contrast to this gray, it's quite nice. Okay, so that's off there. So they did send me the brown switches. They asked me if I wanted to do linears or clicky, and I said browns because I'm a Browns fan. I do like the tactility of it. That feels nice actually if I'm just feeling that. Yeah, nice and smooth. Feels like they're lubricated. There's no crunchiness to it. It's a really nice feeling. It's actually a really nice feeling. Key switch there. Yeah, the orange is obviously the better choice there. Windows key, so we'll swap that out. Options comes out. I might actually end up giving this to my partner. She uses Mac, and unfortunately she uses a Magic keyboard. I don't know why people like those keyboards. They're terrible. I don't like, yeah, Mac keyboards suck. I don't care what anybody says. They're not nice. Macs might be nice, and MacBooks might be nice, but they don't have good keyboards. I will die on that hill. They don't have nice keyboards, and I will fight you to the death on that. If you're a Mac user, you might actually appreciate the form factor of this low-profile keyboard. Macs themselves, they use the Magic Keyboard, and MacBooks use like the Magic Keyboard built in, basically. I don't like those keyboards, but they are low profile. I don't mind low profile keyboards, because I use laptops and that all the time. And sometimes I actually use scissor switch style keyboards just on my desktop for something to do. MacBook users, iMac users, they use those Magic keyboards, and if they jump to a full-blown mechanical keyboard or something like that with large keys, a lot of travel, they probably won't feel comfortable with it. If you type all the time on a MacBook or an iMac and use that little Magic keyboard thing, it would actually be probably very strange for those people to then all of a sudden move and use a full dedicated, keyboard with large keycaps. They're just not going to be comfortable with it. A low profile keyboard like this is actually probably pretty compelling for a Mac user, because the Mac user can sit down at something like this. They're going to be more comfortable with these low profile keyboards where there's not a big chasm in between. So I do very much appreciate the fact that these are just easily swappable, and you can go from Mac over to Windows very easily. You can just memorize the keys, but if you're a dedicated Mac user like my partner, that's going to be good. Okay, so let's pull off one of these keycaps here, just manually. Scheiße. Yeah, so this is apparently a hot swap keyboard. I didn't actually know that. They asked me which keyboard I wanted to review, like variants of this keyboard. So it has the hot swap option there. So you'd have to swap in low profile options there. Part of the reason why I'm a fan is you can customize them as needed. So, if you have a different switch that you want to use, you can switch it out. So you don't need to buy a whole new keyboard. If I wanted to go to a linear or something, and I realized, I'm not typing as much, I'm just going to be gaming and I want to jump to linears, you can just do that. The other thing is, if something goes wrong and one of your key switches break, mechanical keyboards, they are more prone to getting like dust and particulates and things like that in the keys themselves than like a rubber dome, because rubber dome is just a rubber dome that gets pressed down and comes back up, so they wear out, but they're less likely to get dust and crap in them, whereas mechanicals can, and they're more prone to something like that. So let's say, this key, I've just been messing this key up over and over and over again, or I spilled tomato sauce in it. You just basically come in here with your keycap puller, pull it out, put a new one in, and you get yourself a new switch there. So that's that there. Let's make sure we're in Windows mode. We are Mac mode. We'll go over to Windows mode so that works as anticipated. G should be wired. Yeah, there you go. It's now connecting, and it's already working. So let's come up here slightly so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, this feels to type on. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, some people may not like dedicated number pads. Those are people who, I guess, just type essays all day, or maybe just gamers or something. I use a lot of number pads. So for me to have a numpad there is very important. Some people may not like numpads, but for me, it's really important. That's backspace, cool. So that's cool there. It is nice, you get all your functions and that up there. So if you're using this with your desktop or with Windows, that's actually really nice there. Whether they're actually browns or brown variants, that's really what I like. Even for gaming purposes, it's really nice. I kind of like the low keycap for gaming, actually. So like actually for gaming purposes, this would be really nice rather than having like a much larger chasm in between them. It just feels kind of nice. Yep, so you can see that there. It's a nice RGB. I don't like obscene RGB where it's like blaring in my face, but if you turn off the lights, I'm just going to kill off some lights here. It's going to get real dark. So if I'm playing games, RGB is nice. Lighting in general is nice on a keyboard, because if I'm playing a game and I have lights off or dimmed, it is nice. And this is a nice kind of subtle RGB. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a soft RGB. Rather than like abrasive. Usually in the cheaper keyboards, they have kind of an abrasive look to them, where the RGB is like kind of, I don't know, sharp and garbage looking. This is a nice soft RGB overall, so I kind of like that actually quite a bit. Okay, so let's try some different options here. So I believe it's function Q. Yep, so function Q. Ooh, that one's cool. Because it's a softer RGB, softer as in like the colors blend better together rather than just having a very aggressive bulb under it. It just looks really nice. And we can see why. Right. It's a very nice, soft looking RGB. I really like that. Let's go through the other ones though. Let's see what else we got here. Pulsating, windmill kind of thing, wavy kind of thing, another windmill kind of thing. Is that static? No, it's just kind of checkery. And then that's a typey style one where it lights up for a minute when you're typing. I guess if you're only using WASD because you're playing games, that's kind of cool. There's a lot of effects. Okay, so I guess that's that. Not really too complicated. I'm sure some of you guys have used these keyboards before from Keychron. I haven't used a Keychron keyboard before, so when I saw them, and I was pretty excited, and I was very, very excited that they sent this over. This is a fantastic keyboard. I think this is a fantastic keyboard for kind of everyone. It's not really that niche, to be honest. Gamers are going to really like it. You can get yourself red switches or whatever, or the browns here. To be honest, I use browns even for gaming. That low profile is going to be nice for gaming purposes. It feels fantastic. Typists like me, I type a lot. This feels very, very nice to the fingers. It has a very nice texture to it. Overall, like the actual keycaps feel very nice. The sound is beautiful. Has a very, very thock kind of sound to it. Very, very, very nice. Nice, smooth, lubricated feeling. Key switches there. There's no kind of grimy feeling in the key switches. They feel nice and lubricated overall. The fact that you can switch between Mac and Windows is huge. This type of keyboard is obviously going to appeal towards Windows and Windows gamers, obviously, but I think it will also appeal towards Mac users because Mac users are used to the Magic Keyboard, which is very low profile. I think this one just appeals to everybody. Like, I think everyone would be happy with this. If you're a gamer, if you're a typist, if you're a keyboard enthusiast, if you're just a random, if you're a Mac user, if you're a Windows user, I think this is like the every person's keyboard, and everyone can pick this up and be like, this is an awesome keyboard.